This is a recent project I just finished in my bathroom. This is a replacement tub with new tile, 12 by 24 tile surround, and overall very pleased with the way the tile job came out. However, I did experience some issue with the grout application, and if you can see in some of these, actually all the joints, I get this inconsistent coloring. This is supposed to be a light gray grout, but you can see where some areas it's actually turned white. And from what I've read about this topic, it could be a few different things. It could be what's called efflorescence, which is when you have dissolved salts that are deposited on the surface of the grout. It could also be that the grout itself was not mixed correctly. Or finally, it could be what's called latex migration or latex leaching. And I've pretty much ruled out the first two. Efflorescence, just because this isn't appearing as what I expect to be like a white chalky substance, and from also what I've read, it's kind of unlikely in this situation. It's not installed on a concrete slab, it's just installed over thin set, obviously with a water barrier and cement board behind it. So I don't think I have any kind of moisture that's actually leaching out or moving, water that's wicking to the surface and depositing salts here in my grout line. As far as mixing goes, I've ruled that one out just because where I've placed my waste grout or grout that was left over, all that has dried, and it dried a very consistent gray color. So what I think has happened is I have the leaching, latex leaching, which can be attributed to too much water being used when wiping off the grout after pressing it into each of the grout lines. So I thought I was careful by using as minimum amount of water as possible, but it's likely maybe I didn't. So this video is going to try a particular product to see if we can fix this to actually get a more consistent color, more of that lighter gray to show through that I would expect from this particular product. The grout I used is Polyblend Plus. It was their color called Platinum, which is a light gray in color. So even if this result does produce a more consistent color in the grout, if it is a little bit lighter, I'd be happy with that. But ultimately I'm just looking for a more consistent appearance in the grout lines. The product I'm going to be using is this Professional's Choice by Miracle Sealants Company. It's called Heavy Duty Acidic Cleaner, great for removing grout haze, efflorescence, hard water deposits, and rust. It is an acid. It is, let's see, right up here in this first paragraph, contains hydrochloric acid. So it is a product you want to be very careful about. You want to protect the surfaces that it's not safe on. For example, it says, do not use on acid sensitive polished surfaces. Also protect exposed surfaces including wood, carpet, metal, and landscaping. So I'm going to do the best I can to protect those surfaces. Now in this particular video, I'm really just going to do a small sample. I'm going to do two different grout lines. I'm going to test this one here, and then to its right I'm going to apply the product here. And on the first line I'm just going to use water. I'm going to use warm water with a medium bristle brush, and then on this second line I'm going to use this product here diluted 10:1. The second product I'm going to try is this Heavy Duty Tile and Grout Cleaner. This is actually put out by Custom Building Products, who's actually the same manufacturer as the grout I use. So this is used for heavily soiled and neglected areas. Cleans grout in ground in dirt, grease, soap scum, and other organic materials, strips wax, and floor finishes. This particular product, where the other product is an acid, this is a high-alkaline cleaner and degreaser. And one of the discussions I came across online, there was an individual who suggested using a high-alkaline cleaner with good old elbow grease. So I'm going to try this on this grout line here, So we'll have a third sample. We'll have water, acid, and then the alkaline cleaner to see what kind of results we get. This is porcelain tile. This particular product is safe for ceramic and porcelain tile. The grout has actually been sitting for 10 days curing, which is the minimum amount of time required by the grout manufacturer to apply a product such as this. So I made sure I waited those 10 days before trying this experiment. Now we're going to be following the instructions for moderate, which is mixed to 10:1 ratio. We're going to apply it to the area with a medium brush. Allow to sit 3 to 5 minutes while agitating periodically, and then rinse thoroughly with clean warm water. Do not allow solution to dry on the surface. Rinse area thoroughly with tile and stone cleaner or a neutral pH cleaner, 10 parts water with 1 part cleaner. For that final step, I'm just going to use some dish soap, which is neutral cleaner. But first, let's go ahead and try the water solution, strictly water, and get that going. I won't bore you with 5 minutes of that, but I'll just show you the technique I'm using. And that gray color you see there is obviously just because we've moistened the grout. This grout is unsealed. I have not sealed it. So I'm just going to continue this technique for a couple more minutes. Let the water soak in just a bit there to the surface and agitate it periodically. And then I'll go ahead and rinse it off. And then we'll try the acid cleaner on the other grout line. I've got my mixed solution here, 10:1 ratio. I just ended up mixing just a little bit because that's all I'll need for this experiment here. So I'm going to get some of that on the tip of my brush, being careful not to drip inside the bathtub. And I'll come up to my grout line. Work that in my grout line slowly, trying not to get splatter everywhere. And then I'm just gonna work that back and forth. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes or so. I hit it with the bristle brush like 3 times in there, so now I'm just trying to rinse the area. This is the warm water that I had prepared. I was using a light pressure. I wasn't using real heavy pressure with the brush, just kind of going over the line just enough to agitate the surface. So we'll see what this looks like when it dries. It's hard to tell now what kind of results we're getting. One thing I also want to add while I'm doing this is make sure you wear gloves. It's clearly stated on the label, so as with all these products, make sure you read the label and understand all the warnings and caution statements, everything like that, before you just go ahead and start using it. I'll just go ahead and continue to rinse this down. I'll hit it one final time with the dish soap as recommended in the instructions, to hit it with a neutral cleaner. I'll do that for both joints. That way I have a consistent application, and then we'll just compare the results here tomorrow after they've dried. Okay, so this one will be the high alkaline tile and grout cleaner, which actually has kind of a pink hue to it. When mixed there with the water versus the acid was totally clear. This tile and grout cleaner provides mixing ratios for 3 different levels of cleanup. We have light, moderate, and stripping or heavy soil buildup, starting with 1 part cleaner to 5 parts water, or 1 part cleaner to 3 parts water, or finally 1 part cleaner to 2 parts water. I'm actually going to go with the heavier mix on this, just because I think the results that I'm trying to achieve are a matter of stripping or removing those polymers from the surface of the grout. So we'll try the 1 to 2 part ratio. Apply solution to surface with a mop or a sponge. In my case, because I'm just using it, applying to a single grout line there, I'm just going to use the bristle brush that I have, medium bristle brush. Allow to dwell 3 to 5 minutes for cleaning, or 5 to 10 minutes when stripping waxes or finishes. So I'm going to target that 5 to 10 minutes. Agitate with a synthetic mop, scrub brush, or scrub machine. Do not allow solution to dry on surface. Mop up dirty solution, and finally rinse thoroughly with clean water. So we'll give this a shot along with the other product and see what kind of results we get. So again, just wetting the bristles of the brush. Take it up to a grout line. Apply to the grout line. Let it soak in a little bit. Again, this product we want to wait 5 to 10 minutes and then agitate as well. So it's been going for about 9 minutes or so. I was hitting it about every minute or two with the scrub brush just to agitate that surface. Now I'm just going to take my warm water and rinse the area well. So finish this, and then we'll go ahead and let it sit and dry, and then we'll compare the results between just using water itself, using the acid product, and then finally this alkaline product. Here we are, after giving each of the grout lines ample time to dry. The water, as expected, no change at all. Still have really pronounced white areas in the grout line, so nothing surprising there. Second, going to the acid, not a big difference really at all. In some areas you can see where the gray started to come through a little bit, but overall not much of an effect on the grout line. And finally, the alkaline solution. This was actually the product that provided the most drastic results. Now granted, it didn't completely eliminate the white, what I'll call the white polymers there on the surface. It did produce a more consistent appearance to the grout line, so much that what I'm actually going to do is try a second coat or a second application with a stiffer bristle brush to see if I can get that to become even more consistent. So here we are after a second application of the tile and grout cleaner. It did make a little more of a difference, so I'm seeing a more consistent gray color through this grout line. However, there are still areas where it did not fully remove that white surface coloring there. So I don't think even that tile and grout cleaner is the answer to this issue. So that doesn't leave me with too many other options. I think where I'm going to end up going to is what most others go to, and that's something like this product, this Grout Renew. This is put out by the manufacturer of the grout, and this is something you just apply with a toothbrush. So this, I believe, is my answer. I'll show you some of that and show you the before and afters. Otherwise, I think at this point have to remove all this grout, re-grout entirely, which is not something I want to do. I don't want to go through all that effort and then run the risk of having similar results and being in the same place I am today. So let me show you some of this product. I'll show you how it works. Now for the end results, this is what it looks like after applying the Grout Renew product. I'm super happy with the way it came out. A really good color, consistent color along each of the grout lines. This took me about 4 hours to do this tub surround, so it's not something that can be done quickly. It does take some time. It's a lot of meticulous work just trying to keep these grout lines clean and cleaning up after yourself on the tile. But if I were to give you any bit of advice, that would be to avoid any of those strong cleaners. If you had that latex leaching issue that I had, just go straight to the renewal product like this, or if you feel up to it, remove the grout that's there and re-grout, hoping for better results. With that, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll show some before and after photos and video following this message.